Some wounds don't heal. They just go quiet, waiting. Liam Cooper spent 15 years running from this moment. 15 years building a new identity, a new body, a new life. But tonight, the past sent him an invitation. And for the first time since that gymnasium, Liam Cooper decided to stop running. This is the story of what happened when he finally turned around and faced the thing that broke him. Liam Cooper is not the same person who left Millbrook 15 years ago. CEO of Apex Technologies. Net worth, $1.7 billion. Forbes, 30 under 30. TED Talk speaker. The man who revolutionized cloud security. But money can't buy you a new past. And success can't silence the voice that still whispers, "You're still that kid." For 15 years, Liam avoided anything connected to Millbrook, changed his number, deleted social media, built walls so high that his past couldn't climb them. But this invitation wasn't a friendly gesture. Liam knew that. Chase Whitmore had been tagged in the reunion planning committee. Posts Liam's team, monitored them, though he'd never admit why. This wasn't a reunion. This was bait. And Liam, tired of running, tired of checking over his shoulder, decided to bite. Millbrook looked exactly the same. Same streets, same buildings, same feeling of being too small for your own skin. Liam had imagined this moment 1,000 times. The triumphant return, the shocked faces, the vindication. But standing there, looking at the school that had destroyed him, he didn't feel triumphant. He felt 17 again. And that terrified him more than any boardroom battle ever had. Ava Collins, local artist, gallery owner, the kind of person who says exactly what she's thinking and somehow makes it charming instead of offensive. She had no idea who Liam Cooper was, which made her the first interesting person he'd met in years. And there he was, Chase Whitmore, still holding court in the same bar he dominated in high school, still surrounded by the same sycophants, still acting like he owned the world. The difference was, now he knew he didn't. Liam could see it immediately. The desperation, the performance. Chase was clinging to glory days that were slipping through his fingers. But that didn't make him less dangerous. Cornered animals bite hardest. Chase Whitmore had spent 15 years being the big fish in a small pond. He'd taken over his father's car dealership, married his high school girlfriend, divorced her, and spent every weekend reliving his glory days. He didn't recognize Liam because Liam didn't exist in his world anymore. To Chase, Liam Cooper, the real Liam, had died in that gymnasium. And the man sitting at the bar? Just another outsider passing through. But Ava saw something Chase didn't. She saw a man who'd walked into this bar carrying a weight he'd been holding for 15 years, and she just watched him decide to put it down. Ava Collins spent 2 hours that morning learning about a cruelty she'd only heard whispers of. She'd been homeschooled for high school artist parents. Unconventional childhood. She'd missed the Liam Cooper story, but Millbrook hadn't forgotten. The video had been shared, memed, laughed at for years. The fat kid's graduation gift. That's what they'd called it. And Chase had built his legend on it. The video had over 100,000 views, most from Millbrook IP addresses. People had watched their neighbor's destruction on repeat for entertainment. Chase had been planning this for weeks. The reunion wasn't about nostalgia. It was about reasserting dominance. Because if Liam Cooper came back successful, it threatened Chase's entire identity. If the kid he destroyed could become something, what did that make Chase? Just a bully who peaked at 17. So Chase did what bullies do when they feel threatened. He prepared to strike first. This is what Ava understood that most people didn't. Liam wasn't coming back for revenge. He was coming back for permission. Permission to finally be free of the shame that had followed him for 15 years. Permission to stop running. Permission to exist as himself, past and present, without apology. But Chase didn't deserve to give him that permission, and Ava wasn't about to let him try. This was the conversation Liam had never had. Not with therapists, not with colleagues, not with anyone. Because saying it out loud meant acknowledging it was real. That the pain wasn't just in his head. That the shame had shaped every single decision he'd made for 15 years. Every workout, every business deal, every relationship he'd sabotaged because he couldn't believe anyone could actually want him. Ava listened, didn't interrupt, didn't try to fix him, just witnessed. And somehow, that was everything. Ava wasn't offering him revenge. She was offering him something better. Reclamation. The chance to walk back into that room, not as a victim, not as a billionaire, but as someone who'd survived and chose to stop hiding. It was terrifying. It was exactly what he needed. And for the first time in 15 years, Liam Cooper didn't feel alone. The moment Liam walked into that gymnasium, the energy shifted. Everyone recognized him not from 15 years ago, but from Google searches they'd done when they'd heard he was coming. The billionaire. The CEO, the one who got out. And Chase couldn't stop smiling because he'd been waiting for this. His entire plan was about to unfold, or so he thought. This was it. Chase's moment. The room held its breath. Some people knew what was coming. The story had spread. Others were confused. And Liam? Liam stood perfectly still, waiting. This is where everything changed. Because Liam didn't fight, didn't argue, didn't try to defend himself. Instead, he did something Chase never expected. He took ownership. Liam wasn't destroying Chase. He was simply stating facts. And facts, delivered calmly, can be more devastating than any insult. Because the truth was undeniable. Chase had peaked at 17. And Liam? Liam had only just begun. Liam Cooper didn't destroy Chase Whitmore that night. He simply stopped giving him power. And in the vacuum left by Liam's absence, Chase's own smallness filled the room. The people who'd laughed that night 15 years ago, they weren't laughing now. They were looking at Chase and seeing exactly what Liam had seen. A man trapped in his worst moment, unable to grow beyond it. The real victory wasn't humiliating Chase. It was walking away. Because revenge requires you to stay connected to your pain. Freedom means letting it go entirely. Liam Cooper left Millbrook that night for the second time in his life. But this time was different. This time, he wasn't running. He was choosing. Choosing to leave the past where it belonged. Choosing to stop defining himself by his worst moment. Choosing to be someone who'd survived, not someone who was still suffering. Chase Whitmore would spend the rest of his life in that gymnasium, metaphorically, reliving glory, clinging to power he never really had. But Liam drove toward a future that wasn't about proving anything to anyone, not even to himself. Because true power isn't revenge, it's liberation. 6 months later, Liam Cooper opened a foundation for bullied kids. He never spoke about Chase publicly, never told the story on TED stages or in interviews. Because this wasn't about making Chase the villain of his narrative. It was about writing a new story entirely. One where the scared kid from Millbrook was just the opening chapter, not the whole book. And the ending? Well, that was still being written. But for the first time, Liam was the one holding the pen. Subscribe.